Hi, I'm Reverend Tony Lorenzen. I've got a spiritual challenge for you for the month of March on the theme of transformation. Think your human spirit is up for the challenge? Stick around. Before I get into this month's challenge, just a quick reminder that if you haven't done so already, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell, share with others, leave us a comment. All that stuff does really help us out a lot. Thank you so much. I am outside filming this challenge on the first day of March because it's been cold where I live. It's been snowy, it's been rainy, it's been gray. And all of a sudden, it feels like a little bit of spring is on the way here today. It's a little warmer. The sky is blue with a couple of nice clouds. It's a great day to be out for a walk, so I thought I'd do the spiritual challenge while I was out for a walk today. My congregations are dealing with the theme of transformation this month in March. And for my spiritual challenge, I challenge you to do a spiritual reboot. Reset, start over. Spiritual reboot. Reset, start over. Reset, start over. Take up or start up a spiritual practice. There are 4 essential qualities that make something a spiritual practice as opposed to just any other habit. The first of these qualities is it needs to be a regular practice. It needs to be a discipline that you engage in on a regular basis. It needs to become a planted and deep routine, not something you do every once in a while. Although there are levels of spiritual practice, and a spiritual practice might be daily or weekly or monthly, that daily practice really needs to be done every day. Might be a short practice, might be a more lengthy practice, but it does need to have a set of discipline and guidelines that you impose on yourself. The second essential quality of a spiritual practice is that it's something that's done with a sense of depth and meaning. It's not a surface activity. For example, I'm out walking the dog. And walking my dog, Pancake, is a spiritual practice for me. I do it every day. I do it on a regular basis. And I do it with attention. Sometimes I stop to make these videos, but most of the time I'm walking and pondering and looking at the sky and the woods and the world around me and paying close attention to Pancake. A lot of times talking to her, paying attention to what she's doing. And every now and then she'll stop and smell her way into reading the news of the world as dogs do, and it makes me stop and focus and breathe and just be. A spiritual practice is also something that's done with a sense of intentionality. You intend this deep and regular practice to be something that helps deepen your spiritual life, connects you to the life of the Spirit. Whatever that means for you. This could be a sense, this could be a sense of deepening your connection to the natural world, yourself, others. It can be something that gets you in touch with your heart, your emotions, that gets you in touch with beauty, that gives you a sense of being connected to something beyond yourself, which is going to lead into the 4th quality or characteristic, that it's done with a sense of dedication or holiness or sacredness to something beyond you. I believe a spiritual practice needs to have a sense of consecration. It is not only something we do with the intent to deepen our spiritual life, but it's also done with a sense that we consecrate that time and ourselves to something beyond ourselves. It may be God, it may be the universe, it may be a particular justice movement that we're deeply connected to, it may be a relationship such as our partner that makes everything complete or whole. There's a sense of something sacred and holy that we connect to beyond just ourselves when we engage this practice. Renew yourself a little bit. Reflect. read, rest. It's the season to do that. There's a couple of very interesting things going on in some religious traditions right now. We are in the season of Lent in the Christian tradition, and the month of Ramadan is coming up in about 10 days in the Muslim tradition. Lent is a season of preparation for Easter. And it runs from Ash Wednesday, which this year is Valentine's Day, April 14th, to 6 weeks further on. And then you have, from that Wednesday is Holy Thursday, Good Friday, Holy Saturday, and then Easter Sunday. And Lent is a time of getting ready for that celebration. And traditionally, it's been a time of renewing your prayer life, renewing your relationship to God, renewing your spiritual practices, and some of the things that are traditional or, standard fare in that time. One's fasting, abstaining from food and abstaining from things of certain diet, like no meat on Fridays and all that stuff. It's a time of doing good works, doing charity, helping others. It's a time of prayer. It's a time of contemplation. In a sense, it's a reboot time. As winter ends, spring starts, it's a time to reboot. This year, the Muslim season, the month of fasting, Ramadan, begins on March 11th. So for 3 weeks, they run in conjunction with each other. And that's interesting because one of the big spiritual practices of Ramadan is, of course, fasting. Observant Muslims fast from sunup to sundown every day of the month. And again, that is to renew one's focus on God, renew one's prayer life. So Lent and Ramadan have a lot of things in common in terms of the fasting, the prayer, the doing works of charity. So we could kind of combine them in my tradition, where we pick from all the world's spiritualism and call it like a LENTAMADAN, our reboot season. So I would like to invite you to maybe pick a day or a week to do some fasting. Not my thing, but it's a great practice. Every once in a while, it's good for you. Focus you in on being in tune with your body, being present in the world. What are your spiritual practices? What do you do with intention and depth and regularity to get in touch with your heart and your innermost values and who you truly are? Sometimes we think of these spiritual practices, things like prayer and yoga and meditation, but they can also be things like gardening or drawing or any of the arts or cooking or journaling. This is a great time of year as winter becomes spring, as the religious seasons in Christianity and Islam teach us to do a spiritual reboot. Maybe you don't have a spiritual practice. Maybe it's time to take one up. When I was growing up Catholic, giving something up for Lent, which is a type of fasting, was a big deal. And so people would give up chocolate, let's say. Now the focus has also switched to taking something on. We're going to start up a prayer practice. We're going to start up doing some spiritual reading. We're going to start up journaling, taking something on for the days of Lent. That's a great idea too. How can you reboot during this season? While Christians celebrate Lent and Muslims celebrate Ramadan, what can you do to give yourself a little renewed attention and focus to your spiritual life, to your relationship with God, if you believe in God, or a renewal to your own human heart and all the things that matter to you, and ways to engage the world that are good and just and fair and kind and compassionate? It's a great time for reboot, like when it's time to reboot your computer. Sometimes when we get stuck, right, with the computer, the best thing to do is turn it off and turn it back on again. And now is a good time to do that. It's that season of the year as we get ready for spring cleaning, that this reboot is a type of spring cleaning of the human spirit. So perhaps you can get into that this year. This month, your challenge is to do a spiritual reboot. Find something, take something on, give something up that helps you recenter your focus in your heart space. So that's my challenge for you. As always, I would love to know how you do with the challenge, so be in touch, leave me a comment, and until next time, next month's challenge, go in peace.
Check out my website and blog at tonylorenzen.com for even more resources that will open your mind, touch your heart, and inspire your spirit.